G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Thursday, November 3rd. Started the day with an upside bias, even though previously we had been looking at the sellers, but basically yesterday there was quite a few buyers around, and then in the pre-market, definitely the market had moved up as well. So basically the last day and a half, the buyers were around, so you've got to definitely go with that trend, or with the short-term trend anyway. So the market opened, and it didn't do that, it actually headed down, as you can see here, and headed down quite heavily. But I guess because the dailies are still on the long side. I mean, when you're considering the dailies, this is only a short pullback when you're looking at the longer term. So you got to be thinking any stage, if you've got that upside bias, that the buyers will eventually come and come in fairly strong. So sold off to start off with. Even if you're looking on the sell side, pretty tough to get on any of these opportunities. No bullets or anything there. No decent pullbacks to allow you to get on. So no opportunities anyway, even though it did sell off quite heavily. Market came down, broke this gap, so that was maybe something that was definitely attracting the market to the downside. And once it broke in that gap, it turned around the blue there and started to push back up. So it pushed back up through that purple, which indicates the buyers are definitely around. Then bounced off that green power point and pushed up through this power fade here. So indication that you got the dailies and all those kind of things with you. Now yesterday's close is broken. Definitely the buyers around, and we're going to have a go at going up here. Got a 5-minute single here. This is actually because the moving average was pointing down still at this stage. This was a fade, so you take it as a sell. But as I said, you can see there's definitely buyers around, and one that I just didn't consider to take because just thought the buyers were way too strong at this stage. So we pushed up, bounced off that power point here, pulled back. So it was actually a power point down here, which is not shown now. Just didn't quite get to that power point, but this was a great area for the market to, because the buyers around, to catch that pullback and then ride up. And then so this is probably basically this area here. I'd call this just about the best trading area of the day. Very much the buyers are around at this stage. And then we pushed up here. There's actually a couple of power points missing here just because it pushed up so quickly. They're not showing, but this power point that's in this 41 area would definitely be one to consider the fade after seeing that pullback. And then all of a sudden you got that buyer's pressure around, so it was always one that was going to push up and definitely head up there. So we headed up quite strongly over the next 5-10 minutes there, and then pull back. So you can see the market's pulling back, but it's bouncing off these power points here, so no real conviction as far as the sellers are concerned. And then we pull back to this area here. So this is a really good area for definitely looking to buy the market and head back up. You got buyers support here where the market's pushed up, pull back. So definitely once it's coming back around this 1240, 1239 area, that's where the market's, if it's going to hold, and all the other markets show like they did want to hold, that the market's going to start heading back up. So that was a great area to buy there. So you can see from that area there, it pushed up from 39 to 47. So a good 8-point push up there. So that really good buys there. Market, I guess, got a little bit confused there. Got a couple of greens in a row. Then we approached middle of the day, so lunchtime session. Just bounced really nicely between the power points during lunch. Here's another 5-minute signal, which I'll show you on the 5-minute chart. So this was another fade, but this particular one you'll buy. So 2 fades today, and 2 very different setups as to why you would and wouldn't take each of these. So I'll show you that when I get to the 5-minute chart. But this particular one, 5-minute fade here. A lot better setup than the original one, but not necessarily the best area, even though it did work. The market was a little bit sideways, and during lunch as well. So, but probably more chance of working than not working, so not a bad area. Continue to bounce through between power points there. So at one stage it's got to pop up one way or the other. Eventually it pushed up again. So just an indication that starting with, remember on the dailies, the buyers are definitely around, and that's what's happened. Even though we had a pullback to start off with, you can see the buyers have pushed up. We've gone through sideways through lunch, and then it's starting to push up again. Market's continued up, so it's pulled back here. There's another power point that's sat down here that just got missed, and then it's pushed up again. So we are starting to get quite an extended market at this stage, but if you're really convinced that the buyers were going to go on with it, I guess you could be looking to fade this and push through this yellow here, which is what the market did. Then bounce between power points again, so a bit of indication here that maybe the market's stalling as it gets up, up around its high. So by this stage it was up, breaking yesterday's highs as well. So I guess the market's got to be starting to run out of power on the upside. And it's pretty much gone sideways. And then I guess some of these power points here to fade to the downside, even though it didn't happen, they're quite often great opportunities in the afternoon. Because we've had all these buyers, what's going to happen is everyone's got to get rid of their positions. A lot of people want to get rid of their positions at the end of the day, so you can usually find quite a decent sell-off, and you'll see the market pop back down, maybe 10, 12 points, when we've had such a good range like we did today. In this case, it never happened, but that's something to definitely be aware of after you have a good day, buyer's day like we did today. Okay, so just got the 5-minute chart here. 2 signals for the day. This one here, both fades. Okay, so this one here, even though it came up as a buy signal, because see the moving average pointing down there, you take this as a sell. And this one here, even though it came up as a sell technically, because the moving average is clearly pointing up, you take this particular one as a buy. Okay, and what I want to show you is the difference between, I guess, these two fade setups. Even though you got these moving average lines, pointing in a direction, you don't necessarily. They're a great indicator, something to go with, but you just don't want to look at them as black and white. So when we approach this power fade here, I want to show you on the 1-minute chart. Even though this line's pointing down, what happened, we had so many sellers, the market's starting to push up, so this line's still pointing down from all the sellers we had in the morning, but by the time we got to this stage here, it was almost like a new trend. We'd broken the yesterday's close, we had a green power point holding, the market was pushing up through power points quite easily, so that's an indication that it's not really a pullback area, which is where you want to take fades. The idea of a fade is to catch a pullback and then continue on with the trend. So you're looking for it to push down to the lows. In this particular case, it never looked like doing that because of all those things indicating that basically the buyer's around, and this was just a start of a new trend. So if anything, I wanted to actually take this one long, but it is difficult because this is pointing the other direction. But hopefully that makes sense as to why you definitely wouldn't be looking at that fade compared to this one here. When you look at the 1-minute chart, it was pushing up. There was nothing showing that there was sellers around, so this was looking like there's an uptrend. We're looking to catch a pullback and then look for the market to continue to push up, which is what this fade did. So that's the difference between what a fade's actually meant to look like compared to one that, even though it's shown technically as a fade, it's one you'd never take. So I hope you might want to check those out in the 1-minute charts, and hopefully you can see that and that makes sense. Righto, that's a wrap up.